As a photographer here at The Day, one of my favorite parts of the week is working on Sundays. And it's not because my editors aren't in the office and emailing me, but because on a slower news day, we really kind of get to focus on community events and features that are happening across the southeastern Connecticut region. One of these events recently that brought so much fun to myself and my coworker Jack as we were reporting on the story was a training day for the Newfoundland Land and Sea nonprofit. They work with their dogs to train them in ways that have real practical life applications. There were dogs who would hold a buoy in their mouth and tow a boat. We saw some of that. We saw dogs searching for objects underwater. We saw dogs differentiating between two people in the water, one of whom was screaming for help and one of who wasn't, and which one do they kind of tow back to land. But by far the coolest thing we saw was dogs who were learning how to jump off of a rowboat and into the water to help a swimmer in danger. This particular dog in this photo, Alexa, she's 3 years old. The second they put the ramp onto the rowboat at the Mystic Seaport Museum, she knew exactly what was happening and spent the whole trip out there into the middle of the river giving her owner, Keith, these big, wet, sloppy kisses that only a Newfoundland can give. In this moment, I knew that this was going to be a technical photo. It was this cloudy day. It wasn't super sunny, which is better for just lighting, but it meant that to keep my shutter speed up, I had to bring my aperture down a little bit more, which made focus kind of even more important than normal. When you have a dog jumping into moving water, that focus is also really hard. I made sure I was using my longer lens, and with a mirrorless camera, I also had the opportunity to push the frames per second, which is what really made this photo happen. I try not to use it too often because it can really bog down in editing, but when you have a dog that's jumping into the water, something that really only takes a few seconds, having 30 frames per second really, really makes all of the difference. And if my frames per second had been any lower than 30, I might not have gotten this photo. So Alexa jumps into the water. I'm already taking photos the second I hear her owner Keith start calling to her. So before she's even off the boat, I probably have a sequence of 30 photos in this. So I have her before she's even jumping off the boat, and then you can kind of see in the sequence okay, her front legs are off the boat, her whole body's off the boat, and you can kind of see the sequence of her falling, and now 1 foot's in the water, now 2 foot's in the water. So it's actually really hard in editing to pick the best photo because I was shooting so many frames per second of okay, I definitely want her full body off the boat, but do I want the splash? Do I want the shake of the water coming off that I was able to achieve with a higher shutter speed? And all of those sorts of things, and kind of putting in that forethought about shutter speed and aperture and frames per second really allowed me to capture this moment. Alexa wasn't the only dog to do this, but everyone on the beach kind of commented that she did it the best. Some of the other dogs that we took photos of that were there while I was working just kind of fell into the water or didn't jump as high, but Alexa's really high suspended jump that I was able to capture really made all the difference.